You're listening to the Hustled Up Podcast. We're Holly and Laura, besties since birth, cleaning business owners, multi-passionate doers, and founders of the Hustle Haven, a modern business education and networking collective built for fellow entrepreneurs who crave growth, support, and real connection. Now, we're your go-to girlies for the real side of entrepreneurship. We're covering wins, fails, and the messy middle. So come on in and let's talk branding, booking, burnout, and everything in between. If you're in serious need of tips, tea, total transformation, and that let's freaking go energy, you're in the right place. Grab your earbuds, turn up the volume, and let's hustle up. Hello, friends, followers, listeners, fellow hustlers. Welcome back to another episode of the Hustled Up Podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Holly.
And my name is Laura.
And girl or boy, we have a good episode for you today because we sat down with the lovely Kristina Hind. And not only is she an incredible bookkeeper, but she is our bookkeeper. Mm-hmm. And so she is the owner and founder of Franklynn Accounting, and she is also a CPA. She offers professional bookkeeping services, which is the bread and butter of her business and kind of where it all started. But now she offers things like financial advisement and tax preparation as well. And during today's discussion, we talked all about the things you can do to basically establish the blueprint for your business and make sure your business is on track financially. I mean, let's be real. All of us start businesses, usually because we hate working for somebody else, but
Facts.
that's besides the point. But also B, for financial freedom, right? So you don't know if you are achieving financial freedom if you aren't keeping track of your books. Whether you are one of our amazing solo cleaner listeners or somebody who has an established business, if you are not keeping track of your books and reconciling your bank accounts on a regular basis, then you are not doing it right. And so Kristina tells us all about that. She talks all about tax deductions that you may be missing that can help save you money at the end of the year, as well as a bunch of other things that you should know when it comes to running your business, keeping your books on track, and getting yourself to financial freedom. So you definitely don't want to miss this episode. We turn the unsexy into very, very sexy. You hear us say it a couple of times. And so without further ado, let's welcome in the wonderful, the beautiful Kristina Hind. If you own a home service business and you are struggling to juggle quotes, invoices, client reminders, communications across every single platform, the works, you need to stop what you're doing and listen to me right now. Jobber has been keeping my business running smooth for years. I swear by it, and I need to tell you all about it. From managing 11 technician schedules to invoicing to automated client reminders and so much more, Jobber makes my life easy. This CRM has allowed me to truly work on building my business while keeping everything organized instead of chasing down paperwork. And here's the best part. As an official Jobber brand partner, I know I am still freaking out over this myself. I have a code that is going to not only get you a 14-day free trial, but 20% off for 6 months. Just head on to go.getjobber.com/Holly. Again, that's go.getjobber.com/Holly to claim your savings. There are multiple plans to choose from that support a multitude of business sizes and budgets. So what are you waiting for? Get your business organized and get ready to scale with ease with Jobber. Again, that's go.getjobber.com/Holly. Do it today. You will not regret it. I promise. Kristina, thank you so much for joining us on the Hustled Up podcast today. I am so excited that you're here. And I mean, I know you. You've been working on our books for over a year now, I'd say. Right? But for anybody who is listening who doesn't know you, can you just introduce yourself and tell them who you are and what you do?
Of course. I am Kristina Hind. I am a CPA and the owner of Franklynn Accounting Solutions. We offer bookkeeping packages, which includes bookkeeping, tax preparation, budgeting and advising for small to medium-sized businesses. Our specialty is you guys. I love working with small businesses and helping them achieve their goals because our businesses matter and they make a huge impact on our communities. So it's something I'm truly passionate about. And yeah, that's a little bit about me and what we do.
Awesome. And what made you decide to get into, like, because I feel like accounting and bookkeeping is such an unsexy, like,
hmm
topic. So
hmm
what led you to this field?
So it's like a really long story, but I'll make it. I'll give you the longish slash shortish version of the story. So, when I was a kid, believe it or not, my parents were struggling financially, and I remember just being frustrated, because anytime like I wanted something, the answer was always like about money, right? So I said to my dad, um, what can I do to help people with money? Like I want to help people like make money, right? And I was in like seventh grade. I was so young. And he said to me, become an accountant. And that stuck with me, believe it or not, for a long time. And so when I was in like middle school, the teacher was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And like I'm the only eighth grader that's writing accountant, right? So like literally like the only one. So years go by, I go through high school and I'm preparing for college and my parents are, helping guide me to pick a path. And I don't think my father ever remembered telling me that. So he's like, become a nurse, become a nurse. It's such a great job, which it is. Um, he goes, it's great for women and whatever. So he's like, become a nurse. My mom was like, become a teacher, those very like straight and
Traditional.
narrow paths, traditional paths. So and I was like, "No, I wanna be an accountant." And, so looking at colleges, we were looking for colleges that had those majors, all those majors, but I started out as a nursing major. And, my first semester, I impulsively got freaked out by so they like in nursing school, I went to Quinnipiac at the time, and in nursing school they have like these big like I don't know what they're called. Those like not cadavers, but they're like plastic, I don't know what they're called, but they work on them. And I got freaked out by that, and I was like, "I'm not doing this." So I switched my major, like, real impulsively, because nursing school is tough to get into, and once you're in, like, you don't really get to, like, leave. You have to, like, reapply to for your seat. So I left the major, and after leaving it, I started kind of, like, questioning myself, "Should I have done that?" So, skip a few years, I start working in corporate. Honestly, I hated the corporate world. I hated it was nothing what I wanted to do, like why I went into the field. And I kind of like forgot why I even chose accounting. Because I was in corporate, I went the path that they teach you in college. I did public accounting and then I was in private. I worked at a Fortune 150 company and their financial reporting, and I switched a couple of jobs, finally landed at Northwell, and I was a manager in their finance department over there. And COVID happened. We all got sent home, and I had my daughter at the time. I decided I was going to quit and I was potentially going to go back to school. And me and my husband had a long talk, and I was like, I think I'm going to go back to school to either do speech pathology or occupational therapy. Like, I wanted to be in the medical field, but didn't want to be a nurse. And at the time, when I was working full time, I was doing taxes on the side at night and on weekends for a small firm. So I called them up. I was like, can I work for you guys like while I figure this out? And they were like, absolutely. We always need help. So, I started working there, and I actually still work there. And then I came across my coach, my bookkeeping coach that I hired, and she was like, had a very similar story as me. And she decided that she was going to start a bookkeeping business, and how it's like it changed her life and it gave her the flexibility to be home with her kids. And it was like this epiphany moment for me. And I was like, oh my God, I can do that. Like, and everything she was talking about with like helping small business owners and wanting to make an impact on them and showing them like how important their numbers are, and like knowing your numbers is what gives you the ability to do what you're passionate about. So that inspired me. And then I was like, I'm going to do this. This is what I was meant to do. And I spent a lot of nights journaling, praying to God, like, what path should I take? And I feel like coming across my coach was really like almost like I don't want to sound corny, but I'll be corny. Like this like divine like intervention of like, no, you are on the right path. It just, you needed to get all this experience in corporate so that you could actually help people. Because without it, like, even though I really like did not have fun during those years, I learned so much, and it's such invaluable experience because I worked in budgets, audit, I did financial analysis, taxes, like everything you could possibly think of, I've worked in. So it gave me all the experience I needed. So it was kind of like um perfect timing, I guess.
Yeah, like
And
everything happened the way it needed to.
yeah, exactly. So that little seventh grade Kristina is here
Aw.
now. So
That's so cute. I love that your dad doesn't even remember saying that because, like, something he said so many years ago has impacted your entire life.
yeah, literally.
Does
Yeah.
he feel like moved by that? Like, or like really like special about
Well,
it?
my dad, he passed away actually when I was in college. He passed
Oh, I'm sorry to
away.
hear that.
Yeah, thank you. But I mean, I think he knows because
Yeah, I was gonna say, the divine
yeah,
intervention. I mean, I really do. I'm a firm believer in God works in mysterious ways, and everything happens for a reason. So maybe He set that divine intervention
yeah,
into plan. And as
yeah,
somebody who sees our books, you know that we believe in the importance of coaching. We spend a lot of money on it
yes,
every month.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, my coach, I really give her a lot of credit for being one of the first to like step out and make a name like this for herself. And also, like anyone who's an accountant and knows like there's almost like a hierarchy in accounting, and bookkeepers are like on the lower end of the spectrum, but she made it so where it was like, no, like be the bookkeeper. It's a simple, scalable business that you can build and then build upon, and it's lucrative, and you can build a life for yourself, like doing bookkeeping. So, the unsexy became sexy when she said it like that. And I was like, duh, like obviously, yeah, I can do this for sure. And getting my first couple of clients, getting my feet wet, gave me the confidence to keep pursuing like and broadening what I do, because now I do offer budgeting and advising for clients and tax preparation. So starting out simple with just the bookkeeping really let me expand to do other things.
wow. I mean, I think
Cool.
personally, and I don't even know how we did it. We went years with just an accountant who, as everybody knows, is my brother. But the amount of cleanup we had to do at the end of the year when it came time to file, I was like, we can't do this anymore. Like, we need somebody managing this on a monthly basis. So I don't even understand how bookkeeping could be viewed at, because the bookkeeping is like the backbone to all of the other stuff.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? I couldn't imagine like managing the business without a bookkeeper now, because like
No, especially
I
now that we have one. Like, are you kidding me? No way.
yeah, no,
Like,
it's like I think it's great. It's something that every small business needs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
at what, like, do you think that small businesses should get a bookkeeper right from the start of their business, or is there a certain point that you think that a small business should start looking into a bookkeeper? Should they be self-managing in the beginning? Like,
It's a good question.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna depend. I love that question. And I'm gonna give the very like attorney accountant type answer. It depends, right? I think it depends on on you as the person, right? And your personality and knowing yourself and um doing your books yourself is definitely something that you can do. There are templates out there. If you're first starting out, I would say at least if you can get a bookkeeping template, and I would be happy to share one with you. Um, that is at least better than having nothing, right? You want to make sure that you're tracking your numbers, you know how much profit you have, and profit, to anybody who doesn't know what that is your revenue minus your expenses, and the money left over is your profit. Um, so you want to understand what those numbers are. Now, that being said, if you know yourself and you know, okay, I'm not going to do it, and I don't know if I'm even doing this correct, then definitely look into hiring somebody. And there is a bookkeeper for every small business owner, because there's people who maybe are just starting out and their prices are lower, that you can like partner with them, or somebody who might give you the option of just reconciling quarterly, right? There's people out there who do that as well. And just kind of like look over your books on a quarterly basis to make sure that everything is correct. So I would say right from the beginning is when you want to start tracking your money, because once you wait, then it becomes really cumbersome and overwhelming,
For sure.
especially when it's like been months and months of not tracking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can we can attest to that.
Yeah, I remember when we first brought you on, we put you through the ringer.
We're like, there's gonna be a lot of cleanup.
Because we
like,
brought
a
you in towards
lot.
like the end of the year. Like it was definitely like Q3 or Q4.
Yeah.
And I was like, good luck to you.
After being in business for so many years. And it's also good because then you can really see your growth too. Like, I feel like most things in business you should start doing right away.
Yeah.
Granted, if you can afford it. But like, I wish I could look back at our books from when we started. I wish, but there's nothing to look back on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything was on paper and receipts
Yeah.
stapled. And then,
Right.
we
And
never kept
another
track.
huge important thing I just want to touch base on is when you start, like, it's so important to have a separate bank account to keep
Sure.
the business like completely separate. Like, what you guys are unique in the fact that you have both of you. So you have like you were kind of like forced, right? Because you have your own separate personal finances. So now you're like, okay, we need to make sure that the business is separate from each of us. But when it's like you're on your own, it's so easy to just be like, oh, it's fine. It can be commingled, right? Because it's all my money anyway. But you really want to treat your business as a completely separate entity, as almost as if it's like another person and that's their money. And then you kind of like, once you want to pay yourself, transfer the money over to your personal. That's going to really give you the ability to track your money better, but also keep you accountable for how much you're spending, right? Because when you're swiping your card for personal expenses, $5 here, $5 there, it adds up real quickly. And you're like, oh crap, like, how am I gonna pay for, my operating expenses? I want to invest in this coach, but I don't have the money to do so, kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So you would say that even if, because we have a lot of solo cleaners actually who listen to our show, so I'm kind of thinking of them. But even if so obviously when we started our business, we just immediately formed an LLC because there's two of us, and it kind of just made sense to establish the business that way. But even if your business is registered as a sole proprietorship, you would still recommend having two separate bank accounts, one for business, one for pleasure or personal.
Yeah. So if you don't want, say that you have a solo cleaner, right? And say he or she is like, I always recommend if you can do the LLC right away, to do it, right? Set it up this way. Once you start making between $50 and $100,000 a year, you want to start thinking about that S corp status. And for anyone who's listening, S corp status is basically a tax election that you make through the IRS, and it gives you the abilities to save money on self-employment taxes. And I won't get into the nitty-gritty, but that's like the basics, right? So S corps help you save on taxes. So without the LLC, you can't make that election. You would have to go back and make the election. So there's two options when you first start out. You can run your business as a sole proprietor. You can apply for a DBA through, I think it's the county or the town. And then you can get an EIN number through the IRS and open a business bank account. Or you can go with the LLC route right away. This way, when you're ready to do the S corp status, you already have the business established and you can go straight to it. Whereas if you do the sole proprietor route, you would have to form the LLC first and then make the election. So there's no like right or wrong way to do it, but I would say definitely get the EIN, file for a DBA, open a business bank account, and keep everything completely separate from your personal finances.
That is really good advice. That
Yeah.
is really, really good advice. So I kind of want to dig in a little deeper to this because, to be honest, even I still struggle with this actually,
Yeah.
which is so funny. I'm like, "Oh, I should know this, and I don't. But when it comes to write-offs, things like, for example, a cell phone, or like, what are things that people I don't know. I don't even know how to word this, right? So like I pay for my cell phone from my personal bank account. So I've never written it off, but I use my cell phone primarily for work. I mean, it is mostly for work. So should that be coming out of the business bank account, or is there a way to write off things that are coming out of your personal account for business? Does that make
No, that makes sense. So for your personal situation, right? Especially with an S corp having two owners, the way that you would handle something like that would be through they call it an accountable plan, right? But let's make it layman's terms. Say you were working at a W-2 job and something similar. You were using your your personal phone for business all the time, and your company was like, okay, we'll cover a portion of your phone, right? And say you went to the store and I don't know, say you're an event planner and you were buying a bunch of stuff for an event personally and you needed to be reimbursed by your company, you would submit an expense report, and then the expense report would get approved by AP, and then they would reimburse you for those expenses. So it would be very similar for something in your situation where you have two owners, S corp. So you would fill out what's called an accountable plan, and your cell phone would be a personal expense that can be reimbursed by the business. So you can reimburse yourselves for those expenses. So say you were like, okay, I use my phone 75% for business. We could say, all right, let's reimburse Holly 75% of the cost of that cell phone bill from the business, and we'll track it as telephone expenses or reimbursable expenses on the business. And that would be a
wow?
deductible expense,
I'm learning a
not
lot
That's
today.
taxable to you.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
don't tell
With
her
the-
this because then everything's gonna be a business expense and we're gonna go broke. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But also not really.
Well, what would a single business a solo owner do? Would it be the same thing, or would they just kind of have the business pay their cell phone bill?
So my recommendation for a solo owner, if it was like in your case, like mostly business use, say it was like the 75%, right? I would say you pay it through the business, and then what happens at the end is your accountant would make an adjustment to the books and journal entry it, and basically just make sure that only 75% was written off on the business, and then the other 25% was marked as personal. So that would be like a draw on the business.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So
I have a
that's how I
follow-up
would
question as
handle it.
well.
What?
Okay, I have a follow-up question as well because I've always been confused about this.
I feel like we're using you.
I know.
We're using you. Like we're educating the masses, but at the same time we're like,
No,
wow,
we
this is
have
yeah.
good.
Let me
I
ask
know,
you
I'm
all of
loving
the
this.
We
things
have a
that
couple
I've
of
been
questions
wondering.
about our own business.
Because I always been confused about like, okay, in terms of writing something off, does it have to be either paid for or reimbursed by the business? Or if it's a business expense but I'm paying for it, could it still be a write-off?
Yeah. Yeah. So it would basically like say in our relationship, right? You were like, "Hey, Christina, I paid for, I don't know, I went to Costco and I bought all these cleaning supplies on my personal card. Just email me the receipt and I would book it on the books as a journal entry. And this way, and then you could get reimbursed from your business for those expenses. But
I feel
yeah,
like
it would be a
I
go
feel like
ahead.
we and really all business owners need to do more of that because we always owe money at the end of the year, and
I
like
know.
this helps you not owe as much, correct? At the end of the year.
Oh yeah, if you're paying for things personally, and it's not like if you have a bookkeeper and you're paying for things personally, there's no way for that bookkeeper to know, right?
Right.
Unless you communicate it on, or you create a system, say, okay, like here's the Google sheet or whatever. This is everything I've paid for personally. So this way you deduct it at the end of by the end of the year. Because on your personal tax return, it's not deductible, unfortunately, because the Trump got rid of that deduction. So we'd have to take it on the business. And that's the beauty of your business, right? Is being able to deduct all those expenses, which are, business use, and they're ordinary. The IRS likes to call it, they call it ordinary and necessary business expense to run your business. So anything that is ordinary and necessary to operate is deductible. So those items, like even miles that you drive. So say you were out in the field cleaning and you had I don't know, 5 jobs that day. And going from house to house, all those miles are deductible to you.
Wow.
Yeah, and reimbursable by the business to you. And you
Wow.
get 70 cents per mile. So it's a lot.
Wow.
Oh,
It
they've
adds up.
increased it. I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
that's a lot higher
that's
than I
more than
realized.
it
I thought
used
it
to
was
be. Yeah.
55 cents. Where am I?
It
At least
used to
here in New
be.
York. Yeah, it used to be,
Yeah,
right?
it
Oh,
used to
man.
be. It's gone up
Wow.
a lot over the years. Yeah.
Yeah.
70 cents is a lot. It
We
That is.
tell
adds
our
up.
cleaning technicians to keep track of their miles so that when they do their tax returns, because they drive their own cars, so we tell them keep track of it because you need to report that to your tax person at the end of the year,
Yeah.
like how many
Yeah.
miles you drove. So I
Right.
don't think they do. None of them care.
I know.
I don't get it.
I'm like,
But
they could be saving so much money.
I'm like,
But
what are you
we
doing?
encourage it. We strongly encourage it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a really, really good question.
Yeah.
What are okay, I have a few questions actually, but let's see. Wait, no, I want to jump around here. Sorry, I have a list and they're all good, but like I think I printed too many and they're all really good now. And now I'm stressed.
I see a good
Okay.
one. I can dive in because there's
You have
one.
a good one?
There's one I want to know.
Oh,
from this
okay.
list.
Go ahead. Keep using and
it is-
abusing her.
I know, right? I want to know because I'm like, I feel like there might be some that we're guilty of. I don't know. We'll see. What
God.
are the most common mistakes that you see small business owners making with their finances? And please don't say coaching because I know that's where we spend all of
I
our
know.
money.
Whenever she sends us the report, she's like, "Your top spend was
I
your
know.
coaching," and I'm like, "Oh man, again."
No, you can answer freely. You can answer honestly. My feelings won't
Yes.
get hurt.
Yes.
That's an interesting question when you say, wait, ask it again. Ask it again.
Yeah. So, what are the most common mistakes you see small business owners make with their finances?
So I would say if you're doing your books yourself, And this is more of a technical mistake in the sense of, because I wouldn't say, I don't like to say spending money is a mistake on your business, right? Because say you are, you guys obviously love your coach, right? So, and your coach has produced a lot of ROI. You've learned a lot from your coach. I feel the same way about my coach. So, and even if you say you spent money on a coach and you were like, wow, that was a waste of time, there would be no way for you to know that that was a waste of time until you do it, right? So you learn and you live and you learn, and then you try not to make the same mistake twice. Now, that may not happen. We make mistakes all the time. But in regards of mistakes that are costly to my small business owners is incorrectly recording the activity in your books, right? So not reconciling your bank statements to your balance sheet every month. That's where things can get costly. There could be things that got charged twice that maybe you're not even aware of, or there is a subscription that you have that maybe you forgot about, and those are costly mistakes. And then especially when you're doing your books, recording, like, say, credit card payments as an expense instead of reducing the liability of the credit card on your books. So like almost like double counting expenses. So when it comes to bookkeeping, so when you're recording all the activity on your credit card, right? At the time of the purchase, that's when you recognize the expense. When you actually pay the credit card, that payment that you see on your bank statement is going to reduce the liability. It's not recorded as an expense again. So that's a huge mistake, technical mistake that I see a lot and can really screw up your books. Also, potentially recording like money. I got this question the other day. It was, if I put money into the business to invest in like startup costs for my business, I'm just getting started. Is that like, how do I record that? Is that revenue? That would be a huge mistake, right? Because now you're putting your personal money in, and if you record it as revenue, you're now paying taxes on money that you're funding the business with. So I would say the most important thing is knowing like the technical ins and outs of accounting, and that's where things can get hairy, I'll call it, is some people are like, oh, it's easy, it's just clicking a button, add, but that's when it's like, no, it's easy until it's not easy, and you're like, you don't understand the what assets and liabilities are versus like revenue and expenses. Those are important aspects, and just making sure that reconciling every month, making sure that your bank statement balance matches your balance sheet. And if it doesn't, you have a problem and there's something incorrect. But I wouldn't say like spending money is really on your business is really ever like a mistake. I don't think there's like anything that, in my opinion, that's,
Even the little Debbie's cakes.
yeah, even the little Debbie cake, because that makes your staff happy.
Before we started recording, we warned Kristina that she's going to see a $6 charge for little Debbie's cakes for the office. Like, please don't judge us.
Listen, office snacks are an important expense.
They
okay.
are. And yeah, they're totally for the employees and not us.
And if they don't make your staff happy, they're making you happy. So
yeah, no, that we do love to give them snacks, but those little Debbie's cakes are hidden. They are hidden.
Oh, I do the same with my kids. Okay? There's certain things that I'm like, yeah, no, this is for mommy. I don't know if you guys, my guilty pleasure at Easter time are Cadbury eggs.
Of course.
Yes. And I buy a bag for myself every Easter, like a big one, and I put it in my underwear drawer. And I take a few like every night. And my son, by the way, Franklin is my son and my daughter. So my son, Frank, and my daughter, Madeline. But anyway, so Frankie
Oh.
comes into the room and he's like, Mommy, what is that? And I go, these are mommy chocolates. They're not for kids.
Mommy chocolates.
They're not good for kids. These are mommy chocolates.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
That's how we are right now with these. We're hoarding the Christmas trees.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're like, you can have like these like pretzels.
Here are granola bars. These are healthy.
Right.
These are healthy for you guys. Christmas trees, you don't need those.
Yeah.
Oh,
No. Oh my
God.
God, that's so funny. I was
that is
hiding in my
hilarious.
bathroom the other night from my kids eating snacks. It's like right before bedtime. My husband was sick like all week, and I was like, I just needed 5 minutes. So I was like in the bathroom, and they were getting ready for bed, and I'm like, these kids cannot have any snacks before bed because they gotta go to bed. So I'm like in the bathroom texting my friends, eating snacks. It's like literally like an Instagram reel.
That is
It's real
so
life.
funny. That is so funny.
I love that.
Well, it makes sense. You know what? We always call our employees our little babies. So, I'm seeing the
do.
correlation here.
Yeah. Yep. Hiding the snacks from our children, our 12 children.
That's too funny. I can't.
Funny. This is way too many questions. This is overload.
I know. I'm sorry. I
That's
really,
okay.
I
You were
came very
very
prepared.
ambitious.
I know.
No, that's good.
Well, you know what? It's funny because a lot of these questions you kind of already answered. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a lot of them she already answered, which is great.
Yeah.
But okay. I have a couple more though. I do. Okay. You kind of sort of covered this, but I'm wondering if there are any more. So I'm going to put your brain on it. But what are some other potential overlooked tax deductions that small business owners are like not accounting for that they miss?
Home office is a big one. Especially for a solo cleaner, right? Because a lot of them are probably running their business operations out of their house.
Mhm.
Because why not, right? So if you're utilizing a room in your house, that is solely for your business, now you can write off, or say you're renting, whatever, you're a homeowner or you're renting, and you have a specific use space for your business that can be deducted, and say it's like 10% or 20% of your whole house, you can now write off 20% of your expenses for the house. So your utility bills, your mortgage interest, your home security system, your
Wow.
cleaner. If you
Yeah.
have a cleaner, all those expenses can now be written off as a business expense because that's your
Wow.
office. Yeah.
That's wild.
Did not
Yeah.
know that.
It's a lot.
That's really, really cool. So it's not just like the mortgage and the utilities. It's like everything else that kind of goes into like managing that space in the household.
Right. Yeah. Like your water bill too. And then your internet. I like for my clients, and like the way I see it, if you're running your business out of your house, there's certain expenses that are going to be more than 20%, like your internet, right? You're probably mostly using the internet for running your business if you're working from home all that time. So I would say like 50% could be internet, and then same thing for your phone bill. So anything that you use personally that we talked about, your mileage is a big one. And then I've seen some which like kind of surprised things that surprised me that I'm like, oh, I would think everybody would know this, but some people don't. But like business insurance, like I've seen that missed.
Wow.
Continuing education, if you need licensing, any of that stuff is all deductible. And maybe I could see like, I don't know if continuing ed is something that we see a lot of in like a cleaning business, but if anyone else is listening to this and you have a professional license and now you need to take continuing education, all of that's deductible, because it's something that you need to maintain your credentials for doing what you do. So anything like that relates to the business is deductible.
That's really good. I'm glad I asked
that's
that
good.
question.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
That's a really
That's a
good
really good
one.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this
Awesome.
conversation.
Yes. No, it's so helpful.
I know, I know you're geeking out because this is what you do, but
I
like
am
I'm
geeking
also
out.
low key geeking out right now. I'm like, I love this.
I know. No, it's so good.
We're making this sexy. Look at us go.
I know. I have a sexy question actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, I feel like a lot, and I'm speaking from personal experience. I feel like a lot of us entrepreneurs, we didn't go into business because we love math. And there's so much math and numbers in business. Who would have thought? And that's why we're so afraid of our books. Like, I feel like a lot of people bury their heads in the sand. What is some advice that you can give entrepreneurs or small business owners to help them not be afraid to look at and know their numbers? Like, what would you say to that person that's like, I don't even want to know. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to check my bank account. I don't want to hire a bookkeeper. What advice could you give to them?
My advice would be, so even personally, right? Like I'm an accountant, but I am not immune to those feelings with my own personal finances. And sometimes I will avoid because like maybe I feel overwhelmed or I have a lot on my plate with the kids and working and managing my clients and all the things that we do, right? And sometimes your finances can feel like um they kind of fall to the wayside and then you're like, oh shit, I don't even want to look at it. Um, my advice would be get in there. It's not going to be as bad as you think, and you will feel so much better after it's done. Because whether it's like whether the scenario is what you expected, worse than what you expect, or better than what you expect, which hopefully it is. I pray that for everybody. But at least now you know, and now you have the information you need to start making moves, right? To start fixing or start managing and automating. My biggest recommendation to anyone who is behind on managing their finances is get in there, and the easiest way to move forward to make things easy is automate. Like automate. Um like that's what even personal finances, like getting away from like business finances, and we could talk about it for both. But like for what I do personally in my personal life, and I think this is something really important to talk about, is like the way I have everything set up is I have my account for my bills, right? So my all the money that I need for my bills plus some, just so I have a little wiggle room, gets deposited in there. Then I have an automation that goes, okay, this is the amount that I'm saving every month, and it's automated. It just goes right into that account. I don't have to think about it or look at it or wonder if I'm saving. I know that I'm saving every month a set amount, right? And then the rest is for spending, right? Because now my saving is done. I can feel good about that, and my bills are paid for. The rest is for me to like have my life, right? And to go out to dinner and buy my kids toys and all the things. So automation, I think, is like something that just makes everybody's life easier, and then you can check on it. You check on your automations, make sure everything's getting paid, and then if you have some extra money, now you can save more money if you want to, or spend more money, however you want to do it. I always go for saving because I'm a geek and I like to see my number go up. So but it's the same thing with our businesses. You can set up the same automation. So say you're a solo cleaner and you have your business bank account and you know you're bringing in a certain amount every month. You can automate like at the top of the month, like, okay, I'm going to pay myself a couple $1,000s the first of the month, or you can do it every 2 weeks. So this way you don't have to think about how am I getting paid, because that's, I think, a huge struggle for a lot of business owners is I have this business, but I'm not even paying myself. And the whole point of having a business is so that we can live, right? So we want to make sure we're paying ourselves. So I would say, I don't even know if that's a question, but I
No,
think it went
that's
off
a
on
great
a tangent.
answer.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
automating, like, yeah, once you get in there, now you can set up systems and make it easier on yourself. So try not to avoid it and just dive right in. That would be my recommendation, and automate everything that you can.
I
Yeah,
love
because it's like
that.
being proactive. You can like get ahead
Yeah.
of things if you just
Yeah.
automate it. Does online banking like systems allow you to do that, or is it something you do when you're like cutting a paycheck?
You can like if you're a solopreneur and you have like a separate business bank account and you're not you don't have payroll, you can like automate a transfer. So you can just have it set to automatically pay yourself at either like once a month, or you could do it twice a month. Um and it'll just send it so you don't even have to think about it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How much should for people who pay themselves in the form of draws only? Because I know like obviously with Laura and I, we pay ourselves as W-2 employees of the business, technically, I guess. So we like pay taxes every week on our paycheck. But some people, when they're starting out, don't. They just take draws, like you had said. Maybe they just automate a transfer to their own bank account. How much money should they be putting aside so that they can make sure they're not screwed at the end of the year? Or I don't even know how often you're supposed to pay taxes when you do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
but what
that's
would
a
be the
really good
best way to
question.
like budget and save and whatever?
Yeah. Well, so this goes back to the bookkeeping, right? You want to be saving at a minimum 15% of your profit just to cover self-employment taxes. So when you are a solopreneur or you have an LLC, you have to pay self-employment tax plus income taxes. So self-employment taxes are 15.3% of your profit. So if you don't do your books, you don't know what your profit is. So my recommendation would be do your books every month, see, okay, what's the profit at the end of the month, and put aside at a minimum 15%. My recommendation would be anywhere, like ideal would be 25 to 30%. It all is going to depend on your total income, what your tax brackets are. But at a minimum, you will always be hit with that 15%. So I would put the 15% into a separate bank account, whether it's like my recommendation to my clients is to open up a high yield. So this way you make some interest on that money throughout the year. You know, it's not a ton of money, but it's something. Just put it in a high yield savings account, let it grow throughout the year, and make your estimated payments every quarter. So estimated payments, for whoever is listening, you can write these dates down. It's general rule of thumb would be April 15th is the first payment that's due. Then it's June 15th, then September 15th, and January 15th. So you want to make those quarterly estimates throughout the year. So this way you don't get hit with any penalties. Yeah.
Okay, so it's an estimate, but then once a year they like do the actual
Tax
figuring
return.
out of what they owe and they pay the difference or
Right.
are potentially refunded the difference if they overpaid.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not be able to do that. I just really I couldn't. I'm so glad that like I'm just
Yeah.
an employee paid as I just couldn't. I would spend all the money. It would
No,
be bad.
same. I'd be
It
like,
would
nah,
just be
I don't need you.
I mean that's why
I
automations are
know.
good. Like in
Yeah.
today's day and age though, that's why automations are really good because then you're forced to save what you should be saving
Mm-hmm.
each week
And
and
that's
everything.
something you can automate as well.
Yeah.
Especially like a bank account that would be that's really great for setting something like that up would be Relay is one, Novo is another one. So you set up the bank account and then within it they have different funds or accounts within the account. So you can set it up to automatically transfer money, like 10% of every deposit, say, and put it into a savings for taxes. Because like, and I say 10% because we have to account for your business expenses. So if you're going off of the gross receipts of the business and you just say, okay, every time I get a deposit, take 10% of that deposit and throw it into this savings for taxes, hopefully you'll have enough, or you just adjust as you look at your books. Like, but at least it's something to set aside, as you get paid. That would be one of my recommendations, to just automate it.
Yeah, I love that.
Very helpful.
I love it. I love it. This was
Awesome.
really, really good. I honestly feel like I feel like I don't really have any other questions. I feel like you've really given so much good advice.
Yeah.
And I just want to ask one final question before we ask you to plug all your stuff. But you've given so much good advice today, like so much goodness. But what is, like, if someone is listening to this, whether they have a bookkeeper or not, like, what is the biggest what is the one thing they should do to help get their books in order, or their finances in order, I guess, after listening to this episode today? Like, what is the top thing that somebody should do?
The top thing you should do is, so say whether you have a separate bank account or not for your business, if you're behind on your books, open up your bank account. If you have no software at all, go in. You can most likely download an Excel report of all of the activity from the year. And if you are commingling, because I know a lot of people do, which is okay. That's why I'm here to help you out. Go through the account and download an Excel doc of all the activity and just literally highlight, okay, this is business, this is business, this is business. And then you can extract that information and then sort it by what's revenue, what's expense. So this way you have at least a good idea of how much revenue I made this year, what were my expenses for the year, the money going out, and the difference is your profit, just to give you a general idea. And then if you're like, okay, I really need help with this, then bring it to a bookkeeper and they can help you really sort through and categorize everything. And it will save you some money as well, because now the bookkeeper doesn't have to do that part of it. You're doing a big chunk of the legwork, and that'll save you some money. That would be my recommendation, is to at least extract what's business related, so your accountant could be like, okay, I can use this data and we can figure it out from here, and then start 2026 off with a fresh head and ready to go into the year with a new plan.
I love it. 2026 is the year to be organized for sure. So with that being said, if any of our listeners are like, oh, I want her to work on my books, are you taking on new clients?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we are open for business, for new clients, I should say. So anybody that is looking for, basically, like I said earlier in the podcast episode, we do bookkeeping. We have basic bookkeeping packages. That's bookkeeping only. And then if you need tax preparation, there's a package for that. And we also do advising. So you can find me at franklynaccounting.com, and you could click the link in there. There's like a get a quote and book a free discovery call. It's about an hour, and we'll go through everything, your books, how you track things, and take it from there. And I'll give you basically next steps of what I think you should do to make things easier going forward.
Awesome. And we can speak from experience because we've been working with you now for over a year, and you just make the process so easy. Even on the discovery call, like right away, we were like, okay, yeah, this is our bookkeeper.
Yeah.
We've been pushing it off for so long, and this is our bookkeeper. And I feel like you have a way of explaining things, like really complex things, to us in a way that's understandable to digest, which I don't think a lot, I don't want to speak from experience, but I feel like a lot of these heavier like bookkeeping terminology and all this stuff. It's hard to understand.
Oh,
And
yeah, no, I'm like an idiot when it comes to it,
I feel
honestly.
dumb when I
don't know.
talk about it, but you don't make me feel dumb. You make me feel like, okay, this is something that I can actually understand and digest, which is so important to find in a
Yes.
bookkeeper.
And another thing that you do that I just have to brag on, which is great, is as you know, we follow a very specific like method to our bookkeeping, like where we want certain things categorized.
Mhm.
And you were very like malleable in that way and able to kind of pick up what we needed and run with it. And so if, especially for any of our friends who may be listening to this, who follow the same model that we do, if you know, Kristina does that for us. And so if you have certain things that you need categorized a certain way, she's willing to work on that with you to help you get your books where you would like them to be, which is what I love too.
Thanks,
As long as it makes
guys.
sense, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we
I
can't put our
think
Christmas tree cakes
tracking
in our cogs, but you know.
Yeah, but tracking your KPIs is super important. Those knowledge and indicators. So I think I love that you guys do that and keep track of it and those percentages. So that's once you get the actual blueprint, that's what I like to call bookkeeping, the blueprint of your business nailed down, and you have a good set of books, then you can really start taking those deep dives to understand, okay, now what can I do with my money? And a lot of my clients, then they feel empowered, like, oh, what would it look like if I did X, Y, and Z? Like, how much money could I make? And like, we can do those kinds of projections, which is cool. But without the books, you can't do it. So,
No.
getting your books in order is definitely first step to scaling a business.
Yeah, absolutely. This was
Yeah.
a really, really good episode.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kristina. This has been
Yeah.
so fun, but also very knowledgeable. You made bookkeeping sexy. Look at that. Awesome. Well, can you just you already plugged where they can find you, yeah?
Yes, and we'll make
Okay.
sure we include all the links in the show notes and in the blog and everything else.
Awesome.
So don't hesitate to contact Kristina. Book your free discovery call. I can guarantee you will love her.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. I had so much
Thank
fun
you.
with you today.
Oh, good.
All right. Well, we'll talk soon.